a lot of people have a story where like this crazy thing happened to them, and then they were like, from then on, I've been a different person ever since that thing, you know. And it's that's just how we are, right? You know, you think you know yourself, and then some crazy shit happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I really know myself. And that's just until the next crazy shit's coming, right?
Yeah. So Justin Roiland, just because you got Atlanta drunk, you know, maybe you're just a different person now. You like send in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it around full circle.
It's Johnny Late Night! And now here's your host, Johnny Rogers!
Welcome everybody to the Johnny Rogers Show. This is episode number 70. We are cooking. We're getting up there. I can't wait till we hit those 3 digits. I don't know what I'm going to do for episode 100. As always, if you want these episodes early, ad-free, uncensored, all that good stuff, exclusive content, go to patreon.com/thejohnny-rogers. I put them up immediately. It's just audio right now, but I'll figure out a way. I'll make a Vimeo account or something. No comedy shows coming up that I know of right now, if this is coming out on Sunday. So the stand-up comedy near me show either happened or it got canceled, because Ottawa in the winter for comedy shows is it's not good. It's no bueno. But I'm happy today. We've got 2 of the 4 Northmen on the podcast, Phatriik and Sean Sirianni from the Creative Imbalance.
I'm just throwing up the 3s instead of the usual 4.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jared, though. I know he's got a lot going on today. Just sending him strength and love and stuff like that. And yeah, we're going to have to hold it down for him.
We'll make a memorable episode for him to watch back.
Yeah. It'd be a grand reunion next time when we get all 4.
I'm slowly piecing it together. Last week it was just Phatriik. Now it's Phatriik and Sean.
Yeah.
You guys have anything to promote? I just started doing this with Phatriik's episode actually at the beginning, because I feel like people are watching right now. Now's the time to go shout out your socials and whatnot.
Yeah, hell yeah. All I gotta say is most people listen to my podcast on the Spotify, but I'm trying to push the YouTube right now. It's a lot of work, but I love the video version. So yeah, if you're a listener to the audio and you want to hit subscribe on the Creative Imbalance YouTube, I'd appreciate that a lot.
I know I got the Instagram up, but that's the Creative Imbalance.
Oh, that's
links
dope. Thank you.
Always in the description. Patty D.
Yo, that's dope, man. I personally prefer to watch podcasts and see like the guys chatting and the reactions and stuff. So it's good that you're pushing that. Follow me on Instagram, like Johnny's showing there. Other than that, I don't really have much going on right now, but follow the Johnny Rogers Show. It's pretty sweet. A great place to see me as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, you guys are like my recurring cast of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat, when I was editing that clip of yours talking about like realizing that your KD ratio or kill death ratio, for those who don't know gaming terms, was way higher than what you thought it was, I was like, man, it'd be really cool if there was like a clip or something that I could show. And then just as I said that, I opened Instagram and Pat just posted a gaming clip of him just murking a bunch of people. And I was like, this is perfect. This was
hell
like
yeah.
The universe timed this perfectly.
Yeah, that's a funny clip, dude. Those guys go flying up into the air. Like I was pretty tickled when that happened.
What game do you play?
I've been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. It's
cool.
It's a mess, dude. Like I feel like they're just making like a video game gumbo with Fortnite, that every new mechanic that you see in every other game, Apex, Overwatch, anything, they just throw it into Fortnite and see how it goes, and they make the community really angry, and then they just change the game again, and it's like a desperate attempt to stay relevant, I think, but it makes for some wacky fun time.
Yeah, I even noticed, like, I don't play Fortnite, but I see different ads for all the characters they put in. They have everything from like the Marvel universe. What's funny, I'm like really into fighting games, and they threw in like a bunch of like Street Fighter people, but the Street Fighter crowd is not like the demographic for a Fortnite, and Twitter was very loud and clear about that. They're like, why the fuck does Ryu have a gun? And there's like a bunch of memes about it, but all the power to them. But like you said, it seems like they're just kind of like clawing for everybody's attention. Like their demographic is everybody, like
just throwing everything at the wall.
Yeah.
Did they have like a Rick and Morty like what are they called, skins for Fortnite?
Yeah, they did.
Do you think they're going to remove the Rick one after what happened with Justin Roiland? Did you guys see that?
So I only seen headlines. I didn't dig into the story, but was it like involved like with like sexual harassment or something like that?
It wasn't even like, I think she came out later and said that like it was harassing, but when you read the DM exchange, she's weirdly like responding back. They're having like a back and forth. And it's just, dude, it's so incriminating. Like just all of it is just it. You think it's gonna be, you're like, oh, that's bad. And then it just keeps getting worse. Like,
oh, damn.
And then, but one thing that he said in one of the text message exchanges that made me laugh so hard was he said a bunch of like really racist stuff. Like he was like somehow texting in a Chinese accent, if you could imagine what that would look like.
Oh my God.
Just being like, you know, swapping his L's and his R's, like just being really out there with it. And then he said, sorry, I'm Atlanta drunk. I was like,
Atlanta drunk,
taking that forever.
Not to defend any of his acts, but Atlanta drunk is a fucking hilarious term.
We got a good thing out of that news.
Atlanta's wild.
Oh, if I can chime in, I think, I don't want to defend his actions either, but I feel like a lot of us have group chats with friends or workplaces that definitely have some things being said that could lead to problems.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can only imagine what else would come out. Like, and the craziest part of that story to me was that like, they're going to continue doing Rick and Morty. Like they cut ties with him and he voices Rick and Morty. I'm like,
hilarious.
Just end the show.
And the official statement being like, oh, we don't condone the actions, but we're going to continue to take the money from the show, basically. Like, what?
Yeah. That's like, oh my God. That's like, well, the argument with Spotify too, right? Is you have R. Kelly on Spotify and he's just a convicted felon, and Spotify is just like, yeah, we'll keep making money off of it. Like, I don't separate the art from the artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw go ahead. I think we did this last time too. Like,
that's I have it on the gallery view now, so I can see who's about to talk. Before I had it on only speaker mode, and it makes it impossible to see who's about to like jump in.
Plus Zoom has a little bit of a delay too. But all I was gonna say quickly was I saw a tweet and it's somebody just said some poor casting director is about to hear thousands and thousands of really bad Rick and Morty impressions really soon.
Man. So true though.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
The Fortnite side, you guys know Travis Scott. He got in a lot of trouble for people passing away at his concerts and stuff. His skin is like blacklisted in Fortnite. And that's not me like doing a racial thing. Like, you can't buy that skin. And I think they maybe, I don't know if this is on the same level, but they might just make it so that it never shows up in the store, because there's just random things pop up in the store and Travis Scott will likely never come back to the store. And that's like a big meme on the internet now. Whenever there's like a big thing like the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing, everybody's in the comment section saying, how will this affect the Fortnite economy?
Yeah.
So you might not be able to get the skin.
I love those sarcastic comments. Like I follow Barstool Sports, and I find whenever they post like non-sport content, which is generally a lot of their posts, all of the comments are like, how will this affect like the playoff season going in? Like it's like something specific to sports.
How will this affect LeBron's legacy?
Yeah. You're like, man, the comments, like regular people are fucking hilarious. Like that's what the internet has made me realize, is just like the average everyday person can have a sick but hilarious sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And then now they finally have a place.
Yeah, I find there's also like subsections of different vibes. Like, for example, you mentioned Barstool Sports. They have a certain type of audience who just loves both sports and sarcasm. So when you go to like their comments, it kind of like reflects that, which is awesome. It's hilarious. But then like you can click on like some other stuff and it's just like, I don't know. It's so fucking toxic. I see it in certain like gaming communities too, and pro wrestling circles, and
pro wrestling is
even with battle raps. Oh yeah, it's worse. Pro wrestling Twitter like ruins the fun of pro wrestling, and even like the talent, and like everybody like says that too. They're like, guys, you're supposed to be like having fun watching this. They're like putting on like just like fictional fights, and you guys are like breaking it down like a bunch of like fucking like beyond toxic nerds and stuff.
Toxic nerds. That sounds like a wrestling group.
Yeah, the toxic nerds.
It's always. I was just gonna say, it's always funny when you see people get all wound up about the wrestling lore like that. Like they're so mad about this fighter doing this or whatever, and it's like, bro, it was a scripted event. Like,
yeah, there was actually a big controversy. Well, it wasn't a controversy really, just on Twitter, a bunch of loud people from that community again. But AEW 2 weeks ago, they had like this women's match, and they just ended up like one of them was like bleeding everywhere, but the like you listen to like a couple podcasts with the girls who were in the match, and they were like, yo, it was fucking cool, like we were just out there like just doing our thing. But then they're like all the weird ass like just anti-women people started coming out being man. Oh, that's not ladylike, they shouldn't be bleeding, and they were like trying to be like equal like with the men and stuff. But there was such an outrage for these girls who just like entertain the shit out of you and put your bodies on the line, and they're just like knocking it, where like a week prior a dude's doing the same thing and they didn't have like a problem. And it's just, again, it's just like a weird internet community. You talk to people who go to these shows and like actually like support, they're like, oh yeah, that was fun, like fuck it. But
the casual fans are like, all right, it was entertainment. Like women bleed in movies, like what, you know what I mean? Like,
I think one of the girls said wait until, like, who was in the match was like, wait until they find out when we bleed every month. I was like, that's a fucking perfect
that's a fire response. I saw that Raw did their, like, it was their 30th anniversary. So naturally, I don't know what genius marketing team thought of this, but it was like Raw is XXX. Yeah. And I knew what they were doing. They're doing, oh yeah, it's Roman numerals. I get it. Like Raw is 30, right? But then I made the mistake of liking one wrestling post on Facebook, and now I get access to every single niche wrestling community on Facebook. Like it's always like suggested for you.
And I thought you were going to say porn was going to pop up because the Raw XXX.
You're onto the right thing. Someone took the banner that they made Raw's XXX and they redid the banner, and they put the wrestlers who have had like sex tapes nice. As like, you know how they advertise like this is the cast that's going to be appearing that night. I was like, what is this? And then I found out. So I saw the meme first, and then I found out that it was their 30th anniversary. I was like, awesome. That's fucking amazing.
I love memes.
Memes are great. I got some good topics. If you guys want to chat about this that I saw today, bride takes revenge on her exes with surprise at her wedding. Here, let me share with sound, because I can already tell this is going to be great.
Oh, geez.
Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Oh yeah.
Damn. Damn.
She invited one savage bride, seated all of her former lovers at one table during her wedding.
And her groom was cool with this, and also,
yeah, I'd want to know if they said that.
yeah,
Let's
and also they all showed up. Like,
yeah, that
if
seems
my ex
so
like
weird.
was like, "Oh, come to my wedding," I'd be like, "No, that's
And
kind
no.
of like."
Also, this
odd.
guy looks like he's rated. He's related to the Un family.
I mean, wouldn't you want to go just for the
that
drama?
He's got that North Korean haircut, does he not?
Yeah, these guys are some real catches. You can see why she threw them back.
This line here makes me laugh so hard. Many viewers found it ironic how similar the bride's ex-boyfriends looked.
Clearly.
Is it because they were all from China? Like what?
Yeah. Or she's just got a type, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It really sounds like some crazy like narcissistic shit. Like I want you guys to come and see what you're missing out on. Like
yeah.
By giving them free drinks and food, presumably.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
But there is like some power. I get that totally. It's not as, it doesn't come off across as powerful in this moment, but like, man, I've heard stories of people like they had like an enemy, let's say, right? And they found out where their mother lived, and then they paid off the mother's mortgage or something.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a weird flex, but it's also like you're now going to live rent free in your enemy's head, because your mom's always going to be like, that guy is so nice.
Damn.
He just came up to me and paid for the house. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
He's just steam is just coming out of his ears.
There is a story, and it's a true story. It's like in the battle rap circle. It's some like, it's not even like good talent. It's like some shitty like low tier league. But this one guy actually
low tier league
actually ended up like meditating, like meeting like his opponent's like mom or something too, and like fucking banged her in a hotel. But like
no,
and like just on
savage.
Like sneaky, and also took like photos. I saw one of the photos too, and so it's like a photo of like his mom like all bent over in a thong, and like he put it like on
the photo.
Yeah, he put it on like this forum, and then it went like kind of like viral in that community. And it's just
no way.
But like he totally like played it up that he was like this nice guy, and like wasn't doing it because of like that reason. Like she didn't even know he knew his son and shit like that.
My God.
Yeah, like how fucked is that? And hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, that's extreme. Like
that's pretty savage. That's like beyond regular battle rap beef. Like that's
like
that gets serious.
I mean, I was laughing, but I'm like, that's not cool at the same time.
yeah.
Like he deserves to get his ass kicked or shot or something. Like
yeah. Or at least the other guy gets to bang his mom, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right. It's only fair. Yeah,
it's trade for trade. Someone's gonna chirp in like, well, what about the mothers? Do they have a say in this?
Yeah,
they're fine. Their husband hasn't touched them in years.
Wow.
We get some up and coming battle rapper. Come on. Laying down the bars.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to get picked up by a battle rapper.
Oh man.
I can only imagine the game that they're trying to spit.
Depends who the battle rapper is.
Yeah.
The battle rap community is a lot like pro wrestling. You've been to Johnny, you've been to like the indies and shit like that.
I loved it.
It's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Even the battles that were kind of like whatever mid, I was just having a good time, because everybody was just having a good time. You know, there was no like awkward feeling in the air. Like everyone was just game. And there's nothing better than being in a room full of people who are just like down to watch whatever's going to happen, whether it's a comedy show or like their favorite artist. Like those are your people for that like 90 minutes or whatever it is. It's a really cool like bonding experience, you know?
Yeah, it's like when you go to like a concert and you see like a lesser known band, and it's just like everybody's like all kind of like there together. It's like, oh, like I can't believe you know this music too. And it's like maybe there's like 40 people in this tiny venue, seeing them, like, and they're just like, we're all in this together. Yeah.
If I was gonna put together like an event like that, I want to hear from you guys too. Like if you were gonna put together an event with like your favorite niches to be around people that like the same shit, I would do a wrestling match followed by a joint roll off in the ring with special guest Snoop Dogg refereeing the whole thing in the middle of the wrestling ring. And then we do a comedy show right after. If everybody was there for those 3 events, I'd be like, these are my people.
I love it.
Put together your niches. What does your event look like? We need ideating music.
It's funny you say that because I have like some really mellow music playing really quietly right now.
I get like copyrighted on YouTube because of that.
Mine's gonna be a Street Fighter tournament with a bunch of blowing hookers. I don't do blow, but
they're fun people to be around.
But exactly.
At first I thought you said blowing hookers.
I'm gonna go blow in a
people who do coke tend to gravitate towards me too. I think because I'm a really good listener. Like it's just fucking.
I always had that problem at bars. Is I'd be outside having a cigarette and somebody would come over and then I would just learn their life story. They would just start spilling everything. Like, hey man, what's up? Do you have a light? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then they just keep talking. My friends are like,
I'm in the trap again. It's like their web.
Yeah.
Eye contact. Damn.
When you're out drinking and you're a good listener, everybody who's on coke is a good talker, and they'll keep your ear busy.
Yeah. I also stay up like really late. Like example, even like last weekend, I was just hanging with people on coke till like the sun came up, and I was the only one not doing coke.
Man. They're looking at you like, how's he still awake right now? Yeah, I know why I'm awake, but
yeah, even like the sun was coming up and I'm fading and they were still like ready to go. I'm like, guys, I think I need to go home right now.
How are you guys doing in Toronto with this string of TTC attacks? That's all I fucking here's the thing is when I lived there, I would see these crazy news stories and be like, they're just like fear mongering. Like every day is fine. Like, yeah, it's a city, so naturally there's some crazy people. But since living in Ottawa, every time I see a news story, I'm like, oh my God, that place is burning to the ground. Like, what is happening? There's like flying ups with 300 people waiting for the bus. TTC workers getting chased with syringes.
Yeah, so I hear about it all the time. I never see it. I'm on the TTC all the time. I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is happening. But what's fucked too, like I've been in Toronto for the past 10 years, and my grandma, like, she watches the like 7 o'clock news religiously, and I swear she thinks where I live is just one big like fucking shoot 'em up like murder, Detroit year 2050 RoboCop shit. Like everything's going to hell and like everybody's like killing each other and it's on fire because she's just watching the news, and it's like she doesn't know where Jane and Finch is located. Like she like for all she knows, it's like down the street from my house. And now again, like the TTC thing, it's just like it seems like there's something every day.
Yeah, I read that article and I couldn't believe how many incidents there are. It's like they're happening like every few days. But to Sean's point, I think it's kind of a numbers game. Like you got so many people on the subway every day that, if you got 50 attacks happening in a year, then like if you do the math, compare that to how many people ride the subway every year, it's like, I guess, it's like altercations are going to happen when there's so many people. It does seem weird. But the other thing that's crazy is you get that perspective from people like your grandma, like people who don't really know what the city's like, or maybe are from out of town. They have this idea of like Toronto. Oh my God, you live in Toronto. It's so dangerous. And it's like, oh, it's not. Like, I mean, it's scary sometimes when you go home late at night. The subway is kind of sketchy, but a lot of these guys is like, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
There was one time where I was like, oh, this could be really bad. And it was like, I was in, I think, Parkdale, and I was like I was waiting for the bus late at night, and I see this, like, I don't know if she was homeless or she was just having like a mental breakdown or something. And she was across the road. She's just like crying and screaming. And it's just me and her. Like there's nobody out walking. I'm just standing there by the bus stop, just waiting. And she's across the street screaming, crying. And then it's the thing you were talking about, Sean, you make eye contact, and that's never good. Because then she looks at me and starts screaming and crying towards me. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then a bus finally pulls up. I get on the bus and I go right to the back of the bus. And as I turn around, she also gets on the bus and she's screaming and she's yelling at me. And the bus driver is like unfazed. This is like a normal day for him. He's like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Like he's like, well, shit happens. And she starts like coming at me. Not like she's gonna like just sit at the back. The whole bus is empty. She's just like coming at me. So I was like, fuck that. So I look out the back window and I see another bus is coming, and I just immediately get off the bus, off the back door. I go behind to the next bus, luckily, get on, and I tell the driver, I'm like, you got to close those doors because this crazy lady is like chasing me right now. And he was like, got it. Lock the door immediately. The girl, sure enough, comes out and she's banging on the door of the bus behind the bus that she was just on. So she was clearly trying to like attack me or come at me. I was just like, this is so just unprovoked. Just made
just
eye
like
contact.
A zombie. Just
Jesus.
It was like a zombie, which was blowing my fucking mind.
Damn.
Bro, that's crazy.
So weird. Like, man, like I'm trying to think, like I never really got in like an altercation. There was like one instant, like maybe a few years ago. It was like right before the pandemic, and I'm on the subway, and there was like a guy like obviously mentally ill, like asking people for change, but like very aggressively, like just being like, oh, come on. And it's really late at night. And then I noticed like he kind of cornered this girl, and she must have been like 14 or 16. And like she's just like not even looking at, like all scared. And he's just like, oh, you don't got change and blah, blah, blah. And then I just kind of looked over and I'm like, I'm not a fighter or anything, but I'm like, fuck, I gotta do something. Like I was just like, man, leave her the fuck alone. Like just kind of puffed out my chest, and he just ended up like walking away. Like luckily it didn't turn into like a confrontation, because you never know with these people. Like you're reading like on the news, they got syringes now and shit.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, but
Jesus.
Yeah. And even like I noticed like a lot of them, not to like just like fucking knock everybody's stature, but a lot of people, like the homeless people, they are like skinny and stuff like that. So I was thinking like at that moment too, it's like if something happens, I might be able to just fucking manhandle the fuck out of it. Just throw. I was even thinking ahead, like let's throw them out the fucking door. But again, like you never know what somebody has, if they have like even like a pocket knife or something.
Yeah. Well, there was that guy. Pat, if you have a story, definitely jump in with it, and then I can tell you guys about this story.
Yeah, just quickly, I personally never had it. This is a classic Reddit post. Here's my story. It didn't actually happen to me. But anyways, my girlfriend once had, I think it was on the subway, maybe a streetcar. I think it was a subway, but she saw a guy get on that was stabbed. He's like holding his gut and he's like bleeding. And he like just gets on, takes a seat, all normal. And of course, everybody's like, yo, what the hell? This guy's bleeding all over the place. So somebody hit the emergency thing. And the guy who was stabbed was like super pissed. And he got off the subway quickly and stuff because, security's coming. And it's so funny because it's like he probably would have got to the hospital faster if nobody had pushed the emergency button. But just a crazy story, you know, you're just commuting. You don't really expect to see somebody bleeding all over the place. So I thought that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that's just nuts whenever you see like something just outwardly violent right in front of you. You're like, same area again in Parkdale. I was like walking around the corner and there was this girl just like on the ground and she's like has her phone in one ear, she's on the phone with 911, she's holding her hand, she's bleeding. And I was like, damn, I was like, are you okay? Like, do you need help or something? And she was like, somebody's like pit bull just like randomly, I was walking by them, they just jumped up and bit my hand. And the owner just went, oh, sorry, and just took off. And there was like severe bites like all over her hand. It was fucking gnarly.
Shit. That's crazy, dude.
Damn.
It's like, I thought those
the
things
owner probably wasn't
muzzle.
all there if he was just like, fuck, like let's
Yeah.
keep on walking type of thing.
Fucking dog owners will be like that too. The dog will jump all over you and they'll be like, oh, sorry, he's very energetic. Like, come on, Fluffy. Like, it always is like an unassuming name. You're like,
They're like, don't worry, he doesn't bite. Meanwhile,
he's
the dog's
mauling
like,
me to death.
Yeah.
He's biting, he's chomping at the end of his fucking leash.
The stuffing's coming out of your like jacket
Yeah,
sleeve.
yeah, just tears open your puffer jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking goose feathers everywhere.
That's like the dog equivalent of a hit and run, though. You know, like your dog bites somebody, and the owner is just like, okay, just tugs on the collar, like, okay, let's go. Like,
Drive by
They're not
canines.
putting you to sleep today.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
shit.
That's I always thought that was a very extreme like punishment for the dog. Like, you fucked up, so now we kill you. Like, there's not like a behavioral training step or something. Like, Christ, even when people go to prison, they have to go through some reform classes to teach them how to be back in society. Like, can't we just do that for the dog? Like, we can teach it how to sit and high five, but we can't teach it how not to rip people's fucking hands off. Like,
I don't think we've ever executed a human for biting somebody.
Even humans murder each other, and then like 30 years they're good to go.
They get out. They're good. Yeah. Oh my god. As I fucking smash my mic, we'll cut that part out. Sorry, live streamers.
They're getting it raw.
I was gonna say, because when you were talking about, it just came to mind when you were talking about like sizing someone up and you're like, can I take this person? And then you really don't know what they have on them. I don't know if you guys saw the footage of the like Monterey Park. There was that shooter who was like, I think it was in California. He was am I right here? Alhambra. He had a Mac 11 equipped. Looked like it had a silencer on it even. But then the gun ended up jamming. He was coming in basically to do like a mass shooting. Like, Toronto is all like, oh, we have, you know, the TTC, people getting pushed and stabbed with like needles. And then America is just like gunfire, just like constant spray. But this guy,
oh my god,
fucking brave as hell. I gotta play this. This is crazy. So he sees the shooter. This is just security
Look
cam.
at the silencer on that, dude.
Huge.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think there's sound, but so the gun ends up jamming. It looks like a goddamn caulking gun.
Yeah. I would have like not known what it is. Like, if it wasn't
I would be like, are you here to do the work in the bathroom, like the tile work or something? Like, this guy comes in and he pulls the gun away from the guy. Like, he just rips it out of his hand.
Yeah. Good. Fuck that guy.
Wow.
I mean, fucking nuts, though. Like, I couldn't imagine. I guess you would just be running on adrenaline at that point. You see a guy coming with a gun, your first thought is like, okay, I'm frozen in fear. And then you see he's like, oh, fuck, I can't get the safety off. And you're like, all right, now's my chance. I could definitely take this guy.
Yeah, you have to. That's your second chance at life right there. Boom. Fucking take him out.
God was like, here.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, I think honestly, some people's fight or flight is just programmed like that. It's like you see those prank videos where like somebody jumps out and is all like, and they immediately get punched in the face. It's like you did that wrong person, I guess. Like, you know, some people just jump right in there.
Yeah. Even I had a test to that where I learned about my own fight or flight. And it was so like, it was almost like psychedelic. Like I blacked out and I barely remember the moment. But long story short, a couple floors above me, there was like a fire alarm going off. And like that happens in this building when people are cooking and stuff. But it's me and my girlfriend are downstairs in my basement apartment, and the alarm keeps going and going and going. Like, what the fuck? And then we notice like we just smell burning, and I'm like, oh shit. So it's like up in an apartment area where I don't have a key to, and I knew the guy in the one room, and I assume like maybe he fell asleep or like with like lit cigarette or something, and there's just smoke everywhere. So we tell the other people in the building, get the fuck out, and she calls like the fire department, and I'm freaking out, like thinking somebody is in there. And I just went like to my toolbox and grabbed, like, I had like a pry bar and this hammer, and this is like a thick like fucking door, and I just and there was two like bolted locks on it, and I just started fucking losing it, like just smashing this fucking door, and like to the point where like I almost like broke my own hand, like, because all I was thinking about was somebody could be in there right now and they're not responding. And then I just kept like fucking demoing this door, and I don't know how, but I finally like just like popped it open. Like I broke like two fucking locks. The door like opened, and just black smoke just went whoosh in the hallway. And all of a sudden I couldn't see. I was like blind. It was like the fucking movie Backdraft. And right as that happened, like 5 firefighters just came running up the stairs, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like just ran out of there. And like again, it was just like almost like these are like bits and pieces of the story of what my girlfriend told me I did. I just like fucking went just blackout mode, like fight or flight thing, and luckily nobody was in there. But I didn't
like
know
nobody
that.
was home, so I just stole the stereo and then got out of there.
And I just like I broke his door and shit, but it was like some weird electrical fire and stuff like that. And then after, I just remember just shaking, and my hand was like fucking huge, and like the cop was like, yeah, and the ambulance was like checking my lungs and stuff. But it was wild, like it was really scary.
That shit's nuts, dude.
Yeah, that's wild, bro.
Yeah. I even remember what was really funny too. The police, like my adrenaline was so high. They were like trying to like calm me down and like like make me like laugh about the situation, because I was just like not okay. I was just like, what's going on? Like, and it was my girlfriend like talking to like this other lady cop who was smoking hot. Like she looked like a character from like Resident Evil.
That
like
term,
you know when those cops just look fake, they just hired like the hottest girl.
Yeah.
And they're just talking to me. I'm like sitting on like the bumper of like an ambulance, and she's like, you really broke that door down? And my girlfriend's like, yeah, that's pretty hot, eh? And they're just like, yeah. But again, like I was just so like distressed, I wasn't even like selling it or like taking the compliment.
You're just holding your wrist, staring at your hand.
God,
like
dude.
they're like, snap out of it, it's okay, Sean. I was still like in like a weird
man.
like panic, like something happens to your brain and like when stuff happens. But to go full circle, I wonder like in like to go with the guy with the Mac 11 or whatever gun he had, I'm sure that's like another level, like where I wonder what I would do in that situation. Would like, I think it would be beyond taking the gun. Like I'd try to fucking kill this guy,
Turn
like
shit on him. Yeah. Damn.
Like,
It
like,
unjams
man.
magically. You're like, that bullet was meant for you,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, safety was just on, motherfucker.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. You imagine
gosh.
you're like, oh, your safety was on. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, thanks, man. But fuck.
Man.
I honestly wonder like what that does to a human's like brain when you think about like a cop who's just like on duty all day. Everybody that he meets is lying to him, right? that he's only showing up for people's worst day. Like nobody calls a cop to be like, just wanted to say have a great day. Like it's the worst day of their life and you're showing up to solve the problem. How like hyper aware that would make you just in your normal day to day. Like you hear a loud bang and you're fucking like on. You can't like turn off those modes, like going from needing to be so detail oriented, listening to everything around you to now just live your life. just go about your day, you know?
Yeah. It's got to be insane, bro. Cause like if you're even just like a highway patrol, like every single stop, you have to be prepared for the possibility that the person driving this car is currently on the run and has a gun. Like it could be worst case scenario. You just pull the guy over for speeding and it could be just he's in a rush because his girlfriend's pregnant, or it could be that he's like running away, like could be drug related. It's insane, bro. I feel like
the scariest part.
You know what we're really touching on here is the way that like trauma is created in the brain, like real trauma from like crazy high intensity events, right? And I think that, I mean, there's probably more questions than answers in that field.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like I think it's like important for people like who have those type of jobs to maybe have a therapist, you know, like on deck, or because it's like you mentioned, like it is like nonstop trauma. And even if you are like the toughest guy in the world, like shit builds up, and there's like I know there's like a high like even suicide rate with like police officers and firefighters and just people who like see like a lot of just like the most tragic shit imaginable. They get called for it, you know, when something happens. It's
especially like EMTs, ambulance drivers and stuff. Like I've been to the hospital a couple of times, and I am always amazed talking to the paramedics because they're so like normal when crazy shit is happening, and they're just like, yep, it's just Tuesday afternoon for me. And you're like, how do you become like accustomed to this?
That it's a crazy thing that humans are able to do, is like compartmentalize different parts of our life and just kind of, but like you said, Sean, like even the toughest guy in the world, you can bottle that stuff down all you want, but it's going to come back out in some way or another, whether anger or like extreme emotions or just like erratic behavior. And then you couple that with like it even potentially turning into like a mental disorder. Like maybe it creates like schizophrenia because you're just always so like on edge all the time that your brain is just like, this is how we survive now, is just like constantly being in this state of mind, like really fucked. But
yeah, because we do as humans like adapt to our environment. Like there's that saying where you become a product of your environment, where like lots of people who like grew up with like bad family situations too, like that comes out like later in life. And like even like like for police, firefighter, ambulance driver, like I couldn't imagine, like you're just living in tragedy basically all the time.
And you adapt to it, right? Like that's how people are so different. Like if you grew up in like a really abusive household, you learn how to like sneak around and not make people mad. And then there's other versions of that too. Like, you know, we really are product of our environment and the experiences. Like, you know, a lot of people have a story where like this crazy thing happened to them, and then they were like, from then on I've been a different person ever since that thing, you know. And it's that's just how we are, right? You think you know yourself, and then some crazy shit happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I really know myself. And that's just until the next crazy shit's coming, right?
Yeah. So Justin Roiland, just because you got Atlanta drunk, you know, maybe you're just a different person now. You like send in. I just wanted to bring it around full circle because I'm definitely calling this episode Atlanta drunk.
I appreciate it. I wish I had a beer by me or something.
That would have been great if we were just drinking on it. Everybody go follow Patrick on Instagram at phatriik with 2 I's and at The Creative Imbalance. I will also link to your guys' Twitch, and Patrick, we need a new YouTube page for you, buddy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get on that.
Yeah, post the clips of you murking people.
Yeah, start doing those YouTube shorts.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I've got so many clips already saved on the computer.
That's been today's show, everybody. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow the Patreon page. And until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.
You've been listening to The Johnny Rogers Show. New episodes air every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.